I'm here today and I want to talk to you guys about the benefits and the beauty of breastfeeding versus formula. I gave birth to my beautiful baby girl 4 months ago, and I breastfed her. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world that you can do. The bond is amazing. It's super healthy. It helps out with them. I had her in the winter time, so it kind of helps out with the colds. She didn't have as many colds as formula-fed babies. She also didn't have any ear infections or anything like that. If we did go to the hospital, it was just because I was a new mom and everything. I just wanted to make sure everything was perfect. With breastfeeding, you do not get your period right away, which is a beautiful thing if you dread your period and you have super bad cramps. So that's something that I absolutely loved. If you're thinking about going back on birth control after you have your baby, and you want to kind of do the patch, because I opted for the patch. They will say no at first, but they want to make sure that you have enough milk supply and that your baby's gaining the proper weight. Because with the patch, it's estrogen in it, so it will dry up your milk. So you want to make sure that you're already producing enough milk. Another thing with breastfeeding is the latching. Now, most hospitals have lactation specialists, so definitely tell them to come in, bug them. Hey, I want to learn it. Some nurses will just say, oh, we'll just give them a bottle, you try it tomorrow. No. Tell them to call the specialist. That's something that you really want to do. You're adamant about breastfeeding. Make sure you stay on top of them with getting you the proper care and proper help to show you. It is hard at first, okay? And it's very, very painful, okay? Just remember, it's like you've just had major surgery because you're just giving birth. So your body's all out of whack. And for someone to be tugging, it hurts. But it's so worth it to see your little one grow and smile and open their eyes up at you, and to know that, hey, I'm feeding you. Like, I produce something that no one can take away from you, which is your milk. So it's a beautiful thing. Like I stated, the initial latch will hurt, and it'll hurt for maybe about a week, maybe even 2, as you're kind of getting used to it. That's normal. They do have some nipple creams that you can put on that's safe for you to put on and your baby can suck. And they work and then they don't work. It kind of all depends. I will say, though, before you actually give birth, maybe that month that you're supposed to go into labor, definitely start using the creams, okay? You might even kind of start to leak a little bit. Also, they never told me this, and I was so nervous. When I got home from the hospital, I was pumping, but nothing was coming out. And because your milk doesn't come in for about 4 days, so it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How's my baby going to eat? Well, don't worry about it. It's some milk that is in there. It's called colostrum. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's the fatty milk, and that's the most important. So even if you don't continue breastfeeding, make sure you do it for that first week, the first 2 weeks where you have that very fatty milk. Also, when you're pumping and then you're storing your milk, make sure you check your milk, and your milk is going to separate, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I think my milk is spoiled. These are all the things that I thought. Not spoiled whatsoever. It's the fat separating, and some doctors will want you to bring in that stored milk just to see if it's separating and how much fat, which is a really good thing. Okay, that means you're eating all the correct foods. Remember, anything that you eat, your baby tastes. You can give your baby gas. You give your baby your baby's fussy because of something that you ate, make sure that you try to stay within the guidelines. If you must, have something spicy, or if you're a coffee drinker, do it in moderation. Okay, if you're a pop drinker, do it in moderation, because the caffeine is going to hype your baby. It's going to hype him up. Okay, too many greens, too many, like, oh, you're going to get out of the hospital and go on a strict diet, just salads. It's going to give your baby gas. So cabbage, anything, like, so you kind of have to be mindful of it. You are still eating for two, so to speak, because whatever you consume, your baby will consume. Another thing about breastfeeding is the poop. The poop doesn't stink, okay? When you switch them to formula, oh my gosh, they smell awful, okay? Awful. But for the most part, the poop doesn't stink. It's very easy to clean. So that's a good thing. Also, you don't have to, if you're not a night person, getting up and warming up bottles, you don't have to worry about that. No worries at all. All you need to do is roll over if your baby's in the bed with you, or get your baby out of their crib or bassinet and definitely bring them in the bed with you. Relax, turn on the TV, and insert your breast into their mouth and start to nurse them, which is very, very, I loved it. I mean, it was just amazing. I think that anyone that decides to breastfeed will be very, very happy with their decision. Your baby will be healthy, and you're going to love it, because that's a bond that no one can take away from you. So I'll definitely be doing some more videos on parenting and breastfeeding and just different things. And my next video, I'll actually show you different things to use that's really good for you. So just look out for that, and good luck.